Here's a little economics thought for you. I used to play Monopoly with my sisters growing up, and we realized that if we waited to pass go to get our $200, it took a really long time to get enough money to buy the hotels we wanted, everything else. So we came up with this brilliant idea. We gave each of us a little bit more money than we were supposed to in the beginning of the game, and then every time we bought any property, we would, instead of giving the money to the bank, we would put all the money in the middle of the game. And then if we landed on free parking, then you get all of the money in the middle. And it wasn't very long until the bank was broke and we were extremely wealthy. And an interesting thing happened. If my sister bought Park Place and she paid, what is it, like $350 for it, and I already own Boardwalk, I would offer her $7,000 for Park Place. Now, did the value of her property go up 20 times in that in the course of the game? No, it was because of the fact that we all had so much money to work with that inflation just kicked it up like that. And that's, unfortunately, I have in my office, I have a $100 trillion Zimbabwe bill, and at one time the Zimbabwe dollar was in sync with the US dollar, was about the same, and then what happened is Zimbabwe decided to remove themselves from the gold standard, which we did in 1971, and then they got into some financial challenges from an economic standpoint, which kind of we are, and then they got in huge debt as a company, as a country, and they needed to print some more money. I think right now we're printing almost $1 trillion a year, and in fact, and then all of a sudden it cost $20 for a loaf of bread, and then it cost $200 for a loaf of bread, and then $200,000 for a loaf of bread, and again I have a $100 trillion Zimbabwe bill that's worth about $6 today. Now that's an extreme version of hyperinflation, but understand this: before quantitative easing, before QE1, we had, I believe it was $800 billion, chasing $800 billion worth of goods and services. QE1, QE2, QE3, QE4, we're at over $4 trillion chasing the same goods and services that we were 5, 8, 10 years ago. And the only reason why a gallon of milk doesn't cost $35 is the fact that the money multiplier is still below 1. The velocity of money, the money multipliers, you go into a town, you pay $20 for your haircut, and she takes that $20 and she uses it for groceries, and the grocery lady takes that $20 and she uses it to pay her babysitter, and that money moves. Usually that number is upwards of 3, 4, even 5x. Today it's below 1. In fact, I believe last time I looked it was 62 cents. So for every dollar the administration prints, it's less than $1 worth of GDP that's created from that. So give that some thought.